the other discussion that we were, of course, having, and we showed you a bite from Hardik Pandya. We've been discussing it in the first game. The conclusion was, well, he's not going to bowl. Where are we going to find another all-rounder from? He's got rehabilitation still going on. He's staying away from it. Guess what? He comes on and bowls, and he's the best bowler on view. Zaheer Khan, you've been watching that and scratching your head and wondering, because he didn't bowl even in the nets during the entire season. How do you explain that?
Well, it did look like afterthought. I think once you've gone in the game and you're just running out of options in that scenario, the captain must have just requested that, okay, you've been building it up, but I really need you today, because that was his last throw of dice, I guess, today. He really ran out of the option. He tried Mayank Agarwal before he threw the ball to Hardik Pandya. And the end of the day, when you're on the field, if you're capable, if it's not going to harm you or damage you in any way, you always want to put your hand up for the team, and I think that's what Hardik did today.
Yeah, Michael, you briefly touched upon it during Cricbuzz Combox, because he had just started bowling when Combox began, and you would have been almost distracted by it. Really, no, Hardik. Hang on, did you say Hardik's come on to bowl? And it would have taken you by surprise, but it's as you said, a few surprises being thrown at us.
Yeah, I'm a bit perplexed by the situation with Hardik Pandya. That you've got to be very careful. I mean, Zach will tell you more about bowling. If he's not been bowling, then he's suddenly thrown into the pressure situation of a game when your body's a little bit more tense. That's when you do get injuries. Now he's just got to go and do as much as he possibly can, his body allow him to make sure that he can participate with the ball in hand, because it's such a massive improvement on the Indian side if Hardik Pandya can bowl. If he can bowl the 10 overs in a 50-over game, straight away I think India are a 15 to 20% better team, because you can play around with your bowling attack. Then if he can bowl 10 as a seamer, it may be that you can bowl another spinner and drop one. The Saini may not get in, depending on conditions. Going through to the next World Cup in India, you feel that you're going to need 3 spin options, and I can't imagine you'll need 4 seam options. So he's a massive cog in the Indian wheel, but it does worry me that suddenly he's thrown the ball, and that's generally when you do get injuries, when your body's in a bit of a state of not being used to doing what you have to do in a match situation. There's a lot of confusion. There's been some strange things from Indian cricket over the last couple of months, and nothing ever surprises me, whether it's the Rohit Sharma situation, now Hardik Pandya, he's suddenly bowling. Nothing surprises me, but just got to make sure that body's ready and right to be bowling in a match situation.
Yeah, Zaheer, let's just finish off this discussion with you from a fast bowler's perspective. You will have had a situation where maybe you've got a niggle and you're itching to bowl. Physio says one thing to you, captain says, look, I need you. At the end of the day, you obviously will only risk it if everyone's sort of on the same page.
Absolutely. I think that discussion, I'm sure, must have happened. This plan must have been discussed for sure, and I'm sure Hardik must be bowling in the nets as well. And that's what he was mentioning in his press conference when he was addressing to the media, that he's going to build it. I think that build up has definitely speeded up after today's match. But you got to be careful. You have to do things in consultation where you're not going to really aggravate things for yourself going forward. So that is something which one must take into consideration. There are certain niggles which you play with, and here we are talking about a back surgery. So usually surgeries and recoveries post that is a systematic method which is followed in consultation with the experts. I'm sure it's been over a year now. I think after the World Cup, he underwent surgery on his back. Since then, he had actually played a couple of domestic tournaments where he was bowling 4-5 overs. He was building it up. Then he had a bit of a setback, which kind of put him off from bowling. So I'm sure he's doing a sensible thing, and he's not really pushing his limits where things can go out of hand.